I just wanted to show another progress video. This is pretty much like 90% complete. It's just like the little finishing, maybe like 95% complete. Just the little finishing touches to do it, and then also some software work I need to do. For the most part, I underwent a project on my house, mostly in the attic. I'm just doing some wiring. I had a video like a week or two ago showing some of the stuff in the attic and down here, but pretty much done with all the difficult stuff. I'm so glad, because I was tired of just going up in the attic over and over. It was just so ridiculous, getting dirty every day, having to like shower multiple times, like if I work I have to shower at night, and yeah, so because you feel all nasty from going in the attic. So I'll just show the major stuff. So one major thing you'll notice here is I now have coax here. You'll notice there's no cables going to this closet. This closet has everything going in and out through the walls. I used to have a cable that when they installed the cable into this house, they have like two of them go just through the wall, and I was using one of those. So it's going through the outside stucco, through the drywall. It had like a little grommet. I basically just cut all those, took those all off the side of the house, and the two cable ends I still have going through the house are now through the attic. One goes to the home theater area, but I actually don't have that enabled, since I have all of my TVs through the internet, obviously. I don't actually use the cable box or anything. So yeah, I have one of them I terminated here. Terminating coax is pretty difficult, actually. I didn't realize you needed so many tools. I mean, it's the tools, if you add them all up, it's like the same as Ethernet, even though it's a simpler connection. But yeah, you have to have like a crimper. If you're gonna do it right, you need a cutter, and then you need the end pieces. I guess it's just kind of like Ethernet. You need all that stuff. So I have all those tools now, even though I only really used it for this connection, and one other connection in my house at the home theater, where I fixed the way that was done. So basically I have that. I have this USB actually goes to connects to my office, and there's a printer there. That printer actually does have Ethernet, but I kind of like having a USB, and it connects to my DDWRT router up there for printing throughout the house. I'm gonna experiment with that more, and maybe one day get wireless scanning working as well. Anyway, I got that, number one. This was another major thing. I've never worked with electrical cable. I showed you guys up before, but yeah, I did install a dedicated breaker for this closet, 15 amp, and through this wall it's actually what's it called? It actually has a conduit, a metal conduit that's grounded at the top and bottom. So if in case one of the two aren't grounded properly, the conduit should be grounded. So it shouldn't be interfering with any of the low voltage cables like the coax, USB, or these Ethernet. So now there's like, I don't know, like 7 of these. 2 plus 4, there's 6 of these. So yeah, those are the Ethernet. 4 of them are powered, and I'll explain what those are. And have that power actually go to this crappy old little splitter. This one just goes to the monitor up there, which I don't care if it gets killed. It's like some crappy old monitor I found. And then the other one goes to the my new UPS. I probably showed this before. It's an OR 1500. It's from CyberPower. It's pretty decent. I get like 45 minutes of runtime, maybe a little bit more. But it's nice to have just one unit now. Basically, I have a serial connection from here to my PFSense. My PFSense is running NUT, which is a UPS program, and then my other 2 servers, the FreeNAS and the my FreeBSD web server, just have NUT running as like a client. Let me see. It does approximate runtime, 56 minutes. I bet if you, it sometimes goes up and down, depending on probably what my web server is doing, because that can significantly use more power. Because that one was interesting, kilowatts. So that's basically showing that it is using 171 watts. Yeah, I bet you that can go up. I bet I can hit about 200 when the web server is doing a lot. What's cool is the power button is actually behind this thing, so you can't really accidentally click it and just kill everything. It's pretty awesome. So did that change? I did that. I did the dedicated circuit, which is nice. No wires coming in here. And then I have this as power over Ethernet. So this is still a mess. I'm basically going to make a bunch of like 5-inch cables to go from here to here. I basically need 4 of them. Yeah, because I have 4 cameras mounted around my house now. IP cameras. I'll show one of them real quick too after this. And then I'm going to make another separate video completely on my security camera setup, because I basically working on getting ZoneMinder and all my cameras set up. Probably work on ZoneMinder tomorrow, but still need to fine tune it. Actually, I'm still getting one more camera in the mail, because one of them I got sent to me like had some issues where they didn't know the password. I couldn't get in, and there's no way to reset that camera. It's pretty hard-headed. So I need to terminate these. I was doing all with longer cables. I have a bunch of longer cables I was doing with, but I want them to be a little bit cleaner, so I got to make 4 of those, which is stupid, difficult, and then I got to make 2 shorter ones here. I could use longer ones, but I was going to make 2 for here. So basically this patch panel is just that bundle. You can see right there, it's basically just that bundle of cables. And I can pull this out, I've showed that before, but I don't want to do it because it has so many cables on it now. There's like 6 in there. This thing is the, so my other one died. I had a Zoom 5341J, and that thing stopped turning, it's been buzzing for like a year or 2. I probably should have thought about like, what is that buzzing? And I believe it's the capacitor is kind of like shaking a little bit, and probably this because this closet gets so hot, like those capacitors have fluid in there that keeps like the conductive part. Basically it's like a foil that's like wrapped around. That's what keeps the capacitor. If you guys have ever seen how a capacitor works, it has charge on one side, and then it can just send all the charge to the other side, but it has to have an insulator between, which is like not an insulator, but just something to keep them apart, which is like the gel. But if that gel starts to break down from heat or just age. So I had one in here since I bought the house a couple years ago, maybe like 3 years ago. It died, so like one time I had shut the power off to do all this work, and then turned it back on, and the thing wasn't turning on. You could just hear it buzzing, trying to turn on, and then when it gets to a part where it has to like use a bunch of power, that capacitor just couldn't do it anymore. They lose capacitance over time. They can't hold the same amount of charge. There's like leakage because of the loss of fluid. So anyway, this is a newer model. This is also a Zoom. I figured, why not try again? This is a newer model with, I think, 16 channels down now. So it potentially can get even faster. They actually have DOCSIS 3.1 modems now. I didn't get one of those just because it's such a new technology. I got this one for like 50. I don't even know if it was used. No, maybe it was 70. So not the best deal. I could have spent more and gotten to 3.1, DOCSIS 3.1, but I don't even know if that'll be supported anytime soon. So yeah, that's basically it. I have just one camera plugged in right now. You can see this light right here. Most security cameras are not gigabit. You can see that little. It's you can't tell from the video, but this one is actually orange, which is showing it's connected at 100. And this is my PoE injector. Basically, some of these are going to be PoE. I have the first 4 hooked up to my security cameras. And that's the changes for now. I did a bunch of other changes in my house too. I installed a ceiling fan. I did some wiring to install a ceiling fan in my master bedroom, which my bedrooms don't have the cans to connect them, so I had to install that. I put it directly on the stud. I did it the right way, or not the stud, the joist. Let me just show here. I don't know if you can see, but I used to have basically Ethernet going from that closet to my desktop. Now there's a plate back there with an Ethernet and the USB for this. This is not plugged in yet for the USB, but I'm working on that. Had some issues, even though that's usually worked for me in the past. Also, there used to be, you can still see the residue of the cable that was taped down. There was a Ethernet here. That's no longer needed. Still need to get a new faceplate here that only has 2 holes, but one of those is a cable which is hooked up, and the other one is the or a cable that could be potentially hooked up where it terminates at my house, but I don't have it hooked up. And then I have the cat6 there, which goes to the entertainment center. So when I do I'm going to do a final video showing that closet once I've fixed the wiring and once I've done this area. This area, my wife bought some curtains, and she's going to cover that. You can see how I freaking fished this thing, which was, oh man, I seriously didn't know what I was going to do, because basically that's my attic up there. This area is actually a different enclosed space. I don't know if I said this in the last video, but basically I had to cut, so I could drill into a plate there and then get it into this area. And then I had to get into this area, and then this area, what's good about this is there was no top plate on the wall there. So it's actually like there's a couple inches to work with. So I was able to slip it through with insulation, fish it, get it here, you know, pull that up. Actually, I pulled it, probably pulled rope and then pulled that down. I had to work into this area, so I had to cut a hole. So I cut that and patched it up. And I'll leave it up to my wife to texture and paint if she really wants. I don't care, because this will all be covered with a curtain. So I don't know how that's gonna look, but yeah, basically it'll just be the TV, curtain. You'll see those speakers, and I also finally hooked up these speakers. They've been sitting there, but I actually got the speaker wire, you know, hooked up, so the rear speakers now work. That's the bulk of what I did. Now let me show an IP camera real quick. This is the one on my front door. You can see it up there. You can see its infrareds are on right now. I actually have it in like a vertical position. I'll show what it looks like on the camera, on the computer real quick. Not yet set up with ZoneMinder, though I have tested ZoneMinder working on FreeBSD pretty well. Me and this other guy updated the port, version 1.30, which is in release candidate 1 right now, so it's gonna be out soon. I get the flash on so I might not see on the screen very well. Okay, let me go like this. I'll just open the RTSC stream. Yeah, that's the stream right there, and that's with no light. Let me block the flash. There's no way I can block the flash, so there's gonna be a little glare on the screen. Yeah, you can see vertical right there. So I have the camera actually in vertical orientation, so I get more length of time on that walkway, which makes sense when you have longer runs like that. It's a 3 megapixel camera, which is like a little bit higher resolution than 1080p. Probably we'll start using the timer, so the infrared won't matter as much there, because there's light. You can see it just switched to color mode because it realized there's light available. So now it's color mode, which I don't know if that actually helps at all, but that's what it would look like in color. And you can identify people, especially if there's good lighting from like way over here. It's not ideal. I wish it was lower, but that's the only way I could get it in the attic and make the wiring look clean. I could have it lower and then have some wiring showing, but the way I did it, it's drilled directly like the lowest part of the attic if possible. That's it. I have some other cameras around the house too, but I'll show what their views are when I do my complete ZoneMinder, you know. Once I have that all set up, I'll show that. So that was pretty much all the changes I've done to my house. It's been a long project, but I'm so glad it's almost over. All right, I'll see you guys later.